Hi guys, this is Jessica Chrysler again. I am actually going to be doing a digital demonstration today um, on how I do my sketching process. Um, so what I'm starting with actually is uh, a cleaned up version of my thumbnail. If you recall or are looking back through my videos, I started with some thumbnails, which were super rough, as you can see here. Like, there's barely anything to it. But when it was super small, which is about that big when I drew it, I already had in mind what I wanted it to look like. So I did a little bit of sketching earlier to get it most of the way done so I can do this video for you guys. As you can see, I have already gotten a pretty good start on it. So there goes dropping back the thumbnail image, getting the dirty stuff out of the way. So essentially, when I started drawing this, I started out with Alice more like this. I thought she was a little too cutesy, although her facial expression was exactly how I wanted it to be. So then I basically do a few layers, um, getting rid of um, the hands and the ears, which were not helping as much for her overall expression. Then I tried this. It was still a little cutesy and just not quite right. So I kept doing a little bit more, and that's what I came up with this position of her hands and her ears. So as you can see, it's quite different. And then just doing the table, I start with doing the actual basics. So the table itself, I have a masking layer on here, as you can see, to get rid of the stuff as I had cleaned it up, and doing the checkers and the bottles and some little bits in there. So right now, wait, there we go. And so right now I'm going to do some more cleanup. So this is what I consider a rough sketch. This is not something I work with to do the painting because it's still a little too rough. I want to make sure it's absolutely right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The program I'm using is called Clip Studio. You see Manga Studio. I prefer this program over Photoshop because the tools just function a little bit closer to traditional media, and I don't really have to think about changing the tools or adding new brushes or anything like that. I just use what's here and go. But in Photoshop, like, that's what people do, and that's cool too, but it's just not my speed. So I like to get down and dirty and done with it. So here I'm just adjusting the sketch so that the whole sketch has the same transparency. So when I start cleaning it, it will have overall consistency. Okay, so here we go. I probably won't talk I will not talk a whole lot because this part involves a lot of mental concentration. So, but if you see that I'm doing something interesting and you want to know more, please feel free to leave a comment or question, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. The other thing too this time is that I will just be uploading videos after I do these because I can only use screen capture on my computer. I don't really have a good recording software that will actually link up with Facebook to do a live video. But I will answer your questions. Don't be afraid to leave them there for me. Yeah, so here we go. So when I start doing cleanup like this, I pay attention to my line work. I'm using the pencil brush. I use my own. I actually did go through the normal pencils that they have. I think it's up until like rough pencil or here. I used the colored pencil, but I had changed either, I think it was like the density or the texture or something. And I just like it this way a little bit better. It's actually really close to the original tool. It's just slightly adjusted. I can't remember how I did it. Sorry, guys. But I like the softness that you get with control of the line work using this program. So, but before I even start doing cleanup like this, I really make sure that the overall shape of everything is correct. The composition is how I want it. The leading the eye around in such a way, and that the focus of attention is in the right spot. Like I was saying, her hands and her ears weren't quite right when I first did it, because I want your eyes to go from here to here to here, and just circle around between, so that we get and we understand what's actually happening to her and how she feels about it. So often I move the canvas around so I get the line work to work for me. Because tools, and digitally especially, they will work only in one direction. So for example, it's really easier to see in painting. So I'll do a brush for you to see. Not the hard one. Oh, I guess the hard one works. So you get these lines and a taper. And sometimes they only work on one direction. This one works in any and all directions, so it's not too bad. But when I use the flat oval brush, it will only work like that. So I can't get a fat line going this way. I can only get a fat line going this way, but I have to turn the canvas to make it go the other way. Okay, so let's get rid of all that. Go back to the pencil. Don't have to worry about that here because it's just a simple round brush. Okay, so I actually don't want that line. So it wasn't quite working in the right direction. So for the cleanup phase here, I want to make sure that my lines are all moving and not have the weight to create movement. And then just, you can see all these like hairy lines, just to clean that up a bit. So when I do the painting, I know exactly where I want to put those lines. Okay. So also, you can't see it here, but on my desktop monitor in front of me, I actually have my reference open, so I can see that her apron looks a certain way, and that the puffy sleeve of her dress comes out like so. You always want to have your reference open when you're drawing to make sure you have it correct. Okay, so I see there's like a little tangent going on here. Not to worry. What this cleanup is for. And sometimes you find when you're doing things digitally, your arm will only go a certain way. So then you'll have to actually move the canvas to make the stroke that you need. I find it easier to do it in this program than in Photoshop. But that's just my preference. I'm also using an older Cintiq, which has its limitations as well. So that might be why I like this program better, but I still go back to the brushes and how they actually function with this program or with doing painting. Be aware of overlaps and showing what those look like as well, but also not being too anal about how that works, because in the painting it will change completely. It's just an indicator of where I want to put my strokes and the direction. Always being mindful of how the form is turning. Like right here, we want an overlap with the sleeve and her arm. That looks weird otherwise. And I like using the eraser sometimes instead of doing undo, because you need a softer edge for something like right here, or a different kind of line that you wouldn't get trying to do it over and over again, because your hand sometimes just doesn't want to make that line. All right, so now we're going to go to her face. I think that's probably where I'm going to leave off today, because I've already been on here for 10, 20 minutes. I'm trying to keep this video a little shorter for you guys to digest. And again, I do have my reference open in the screen above me, so I can see the form and how it turns. I'm not copying exactly, I'm just having it open. All right, so we have a little bunny ear on the side of her face here. So I want to indicate that it's like hair coming off the ear a little, but also it's a solid form. And it's just sprouting from her. So it's a little, I don't want to say wimpy, but not very strong at the moment. Like the muscles haven't grown into it yet. Also, the wilty ear is helping with her expression of utter horror at what's going on here. And so while I do have the hair shape of the original Alice, I kind of want to make it more realistic. So as I clean it up here, I'm going to change it a little bit. His hair doesn't quite grow like this. So again, these marks are really just to help indicate when I start painting what I want it to look like. So, but before I actually do painting, I actually print this sketch out, this digital sketch, when I'm done with it, onto a piece of paper to size, and then I transfer it to watercolor paper. Again, I'm trying to make the hair a little bit more natural, but keeping the same shape from the original character. So she does have a little bit of hair from here. I see that I missed from before. And then her ear here, routing into the bunny ear. There you go. All right, so I'm going to get into her facial features. So I'm just looking up to make sure I have the right angle. I'll have you look at that line's too thin, a little bit larger. Okay. This line is just to help me indicate where her nose is exactly. And then her nose is actually turning into the rabbit nose. So we're going to change that a little bit from what I have it. And from what is on the reference. Okay. Rather, I'm referencing what a rabbit's nose looks like in my reference. Okay. And then her lips, keeping the expression, which is very important. little there. And she's slowly turning into a rabbit, so she'll still have her lips down here. With my brush. Maybe she has the teeth already. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna put her teeth out here a little. No, it's a little too funny, so that's okay. Fill it in. So sometimes we use shading to help with the shape. I'm not liking that so much. I'm gonna bring it back a little. Okay. I was just checking to see and make sure the pupils are in the right direction, because sometimes, like my sketch will be like not quite in the right direction, so I have to change it when I close up. Can't have it cross-eyed. Okay, that looks about right. Um, there we go. So sometimes I have to like turn it around for it to work properly. Again, with having the stroke on your tool going in the right direction. Okay. All right. Close your eye here. Okay. Give her some lash. Honey still have lashes. Okay. Shows the same way. There we go. That's what she's saying. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. I've drank the wrong potion. Alright, so it's not too completely like weird. Giving it some dimension. Okay. There. And she has teeny eyebrows. Okay. It's getting there. So that's basically how I start off doing the cleanup version, and I will be finishing the rest of it later. But thank you guys for joining. And again, if you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments, and I'll get back to you shortly. Thanks again for joining, and I hope to see you again next week. All right, thanks. Bye.